Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to another 5-day forecast. Today we got a little bit of an interesting one where a lot of the weather will be somewhat stagnant until Sunday. So we're going to be looking at the synoptic pattern specifically for regions over the eastern United States, and I also take a more heavy emphasis to the Midwest just because I live there and it's better practice for me. So first I want to look at the synoptic scale pattern of our weather for the next few days. And currently, this is our GFS model. Let's actually look at the RAP model here. Let's get here's our initialization. So this is at 12Z, which is 6 a.m. Central. There was this, pretty large scale troughing feature here. You can see it up here. You have this cyclonic road. You can see it rotating around like that, and pretty strong flow over regions here. Specifically, you can see this little divot of a shortwave here, and that is bringing some currently snowfall and rain to the northeast. Here's our surface map. There's a lot of stuff on here. These are all gale warnings. You can see we have some lake effect warnings here. This is aviation weather center, so it's a little bit different than normal. But see, we have snow falling here. Erie isn't showing anything. Region of Buffalo are showing snow. So we have some lake effect snow regions here. Possibly some regions over here. There's some lake, so also some snow up here, and regions in other parts of the Great Lakes there. We have this, troughing feature. What's going to be interesting is this kind of stays dominant for a little while. Let's go back to the GFS run now, which will be a little bit removed from where we were, but you can see this troughing continues to dominate, even strengthens here on Friday. So what this is going to do is actually advect pretty cold air into much of the U.S. But particularly what we're going to be paying attention to is this feature out here in the west. So while this is important, this is mostly going to be slowly decreasing temperatures for a lot of this region, and what we're more interested in is going to be this trough here. When we look at this trough here, we can see a good amount of vorticity affecting right around the base of this trough, especially right here at 12Z. So all of this cyclonic vorticity is going to lead to a pretty strong surface cyclogenesis. You can see here the GFS here. It's showing it really beginning to form on Saturday there, but you can really see it take shape there at 6Z on Sunday morning. See right there at 12Z, a pretty well defined surface low beginning to form there, with a pretty sharp temperature gradient behind these fronts here, especially later on into the day. I'm going to zoom out here again, and we're going to look at is just how this trough progresses. So again, here's your 500 millibar map. You can see this is a deepening low. You can see by this one little contour line that shows up there, deepening low, and it's going to be moving basically, the trajectory somewhat like this. Likely more so right here, but fairly, fairly right here in this region. Pretty straight line and mostly to the east. So that will be interesting, and it'll play into our weather uniquely. We can see our surface low here. This is going to be obviously, as we see with most surface lows, they like to affect warm, moist air from the Gulf. However, this one in particular will have some more time to kind of charge up, if you want to say that. But it'll be affecting a lot of this warmer, moist air north, and that will lead to lots of moisture within the surface low. And when you have sub-freezing temperatures and lots of moisture, you can get pretty heavy snowfall. Look at our precipitation type here. It's a little bit, again, a little bit messy. You can see a pretty broad region of some kind of mixed precip here, but a lot of snowfall in states like Illinois, Indiana, Missouri. That is going to be important. We're going to be paying attention to how this trough goes. But for now, let's look at each of the individual models. Also, one quick second, I don't want to look at how all of the models agree. In this case, we actually have to look at the spaghetti plot. This is all the different models kind of lined up. So the GFS ensemble has about 20 models. And what this does is takes the 5520 meter potential height here line for each of the models and puts it on each other. And you can see it becomes a little bit of a mess. But kind of our last frame with any real importance would probably be right here. You can see some models are already beginning to hint at some cutoff lows down there. GFS has it, and the Euros has something very similar. So kind of a cutting off low down here that could be going on Wednesday, but the models are still disagreeing quite a bit. So I would say that our last real, real knowledge going forward is going to be this day 5. So now we're going to look at each region of the United States and how they're all a little bit different. First of all, let's look at the Northeast. Let's go back to initialization here and what's going on. Again, we talked about this. We have lots of snowfall Mixed precip, some warmer temperatures out here in the eastern states like Massachusetts, regions in New York City, New Jersey, maybe. This is going to be cooling off pretty soon. You can see here at our surface, this surface low is going to be bringing some colder air on the backside of it. 850 temperature advection. You can see lots of cold air advection is on its way right there. And really, what's going to be going on for you guys in the Northeast is you're going to be seeing constantly lowering temperatures. If we pay attention to this, you can see, let's actually look at the NAM here just for some more simplicity. Some warmer temperatures today, but tomorrow you won't really go. Some regions won't even see above freezing. Next day, it's a lot larger region, not seeing, seeing a lot more colder temperatures, and then you can see you dipping into the tens here across some of the states here. But 18Z, this is 1 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Much of the region here, and basically everything, is sub freezing. That's gonna be your weather pattern up until that trough we talked about will be making its way into the U.S. You can even see around Monday night, some very very cold temperatures, even sub-zero here in regions in New York. And maybe that might not come to fruition. We are a few days out here. That definitely is a possibility. That will change once that trough comes in, though. But there also is a possibility for some lake effect snow. Let's look at GFS model and how that really takes all this. So you can see again, right now we have the ongoing snowfall. You can see it showing on GFS. But if we move forward here, here's Thursday, and you can see just some regions, 6-hour snow accumulations, just some light little flurries in regions, especially in New York from Lake Ontario here. Some regions in Pennsylvania near Lake Erie, Ohio as well. Might see some, some snowfall. Kind of scattered all around here. You can see it really starts to pile up over time. That's total accumulation, especially in this region right here in New York. So possibly some pretty heavy lake effect snow, but not heavy flurries, but more so just a lot over time, and it starts to add up. Then lastly, as that trough begins to approach, you can definitely get that potential for some warmer temperatures on their way. But I do believe the trough takes a little bit too south of a route for you guys. Yeah, it goes too south. So you might see some of the effects of it, but most likely just colder temperatures as time goes on here. It's going to be a very similar story for the southeast, actually. You're going to see some very stagnant weather down here, aside from the severe weather. We'll talk about that in a second. As of right now, you're seeing pretty cold air advection. You can see lots of northerly flow, and that's all coming from air originating from Canada. What's going to go on with that, though, is you're going to see that kind of reverse. Again, you have this anticyclone here. That will move off to the east and actually bring some more air into your region. More mild. If you check the GFS model, this is more kind of normal air for your region, especially for the time of year. Widespread 50s, wild or mild air for the most part. This will maintain itself for a while until that trough comes through. And once this trough comes through, again, this is on Sunday, so for basically 4 or 5 days straight, you'll see pretty stagnant, not much wind, 50s, 40s over much of this region, and normal as you would see for just late December, early January. Let's go forward here to that trough, though, and that's where things begin to get interesting. So let's check the SPC, and they actually have a Day 5 outlook just for this region right here. Very similar to the most recent severe weather event we saw, actually. That is interesting to know. But you're going to have this very well, it's 500 millibar trough, plenty of divergence. You can see our wind vectors are moving apart a little bit over here, especially more in the south. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a little bit of a short wave in there. The main idea here is probably going to be a good amount of forcing helping this setup. Look at our temperatures here as well, and this is the day before. I believe this is mostly about the overnight hours here. Maybe here. This is probably our main time frame here. I believe the GFS, yeah, the GFS does have plenty of CAPE. Actually, even 1,000 joules per kilogram here. Look at moisture here. Yeah, plenty of moisture in here as well. So it's a little hard to look at specifics of severe weather so far out. You can see the orientation of this. The GFS is already showing a good amount of CAPE in a lot of this region, as well as lots of moisture. So that's going to be pretty nice for thunderstorms, and a pretty good forcing mechanism from this pretty strong upper level low that will be strengthening. Then afterwards, again, pretty strong cold front, sharp temperature gradient that might bring some possible wind, wind stuff going on there. But it's a little bit too early to talk about specifics for that. But just keep an eye out for possible severe weather if you're in this area. Hate to say it just after the last event, but it might be coming back yet again. Look at the central U.S. now, and it's going to be a very similar story. However, you're going to see a little bit colder air as would be expected. You're a little more north. Again, right now, some colder air over your region. and even mild. If you look at our temperature anomalies, that might be interesting. And pretty normal air, you're going to see this pretty sharp blast of colder air that's trying to get into your region here, but it won't really be able to. It's mostly staying up north as of right now. You're going to see, again, pretty mild temperatures for most of the time, but again, until Sunday, until that surface low comes in. You can see it right here. Let's check that surface low right there. In regions, especially here in Kansas, you're going to be seeing also freezing rain and heavy snowfall. So regions here in the central U.S., again, some warmer air might be able to make its way into your region. You're going to see some probably sub-freezing temperatures in this more northern mode here, especially with all this Arctic air up there. You can see again temperature anomalies from the GFS much colder than usual up here for a lot of this region. So if you're in the northern U.S., you're going to see some colder temperatures. The central U.S., again, pretty normal until that surface low comes through, and that's where things will get interesting. And moisture definitely there, but there. Moisture's there though. Surface low would be right about here at this time, maybe a little bit over here, but now this is Saturday. Yeah, Sunday. Let's look at 12Z. Surface low is located right there. Moisture is definitely prevalent. Look at our precipitation type. You can see again rainfall closer to the surface low, but definitely some heavy snowfall likely for regions here. If you look at our GFS ensemble here and look at mean snow accumulation, you can see some already popping up there possible. Our main area, which is going to be more in the Midwest. So, central U.S., you have some possibilities, especially Kansas and Nebraska regions, have the possibilities for snow. Freezing rain also. Again, check the GFS here again. Freezing rain accumulation. You can see early there on Sunday, maybe even Saturday night, just some possibilities for some freezing rain. Also here in the regions up here, but that's for not in this video. Kansas, especially for Saturday night, Sunday morning. Then as we go on, we'll talk about this with the Midwest now. The Midwest right now is seeing, as we talked about, some of those lake effect showers, um, colder air advection in much of your region here. Look at 850 again, temperature advection. We have some warmer air advection on Thursday, actually. You can see what this is. Probably a little bit of a surface low. Yeah, it's just a little minor surface low, kind of popping under the radar. We check 850 temperature advection afterwards. Just lots of cold air advection for this region. Temperatures will also be getting drier as you go on here. These are dew points for regions in the Midwest here. Just look at all this much drier air. Dew points are much lower. Aside from that one time here, possibly some snowfall on Thursday night, but really on lots of colder air. Just check that out. Sub-zero dew points here. Even sub-zero temperatures advecting in, but especially all that lack of moisture will be leading to not much lake effect snow really going. Again, until Sunday, and that's kind of the message of this forecast, is until Sunday, everything changes. See that surface low begins to pop up here. You get a lot more moisture into regions here, especially in the southern half of these states, and you'll see you're in a very well-oriented location where that the surface low in the northern half will be right in this region. It'll be a lot heavier precipitation and over much of this region, but in particular, I do want to pay attention to this freezing rain possibilities in Missouri. See lots of freezing rain here, a pretty large scale freezing rain event. Much of these, this corridor right here, if you can see it, some regions nearly an inch of frozen rain. It's a lot. Yeah, up to a tenth of an inch is enough to really be a big issue, but a large area here will be underneath very high possibilities of freezing rain here. See it well on this map. It's our freezing rain accumulation, just a very broad. If we look at snow accumulation as well, this is 24-hour snow accumulation. As that trough approaches, you're just going to be lots of snow showers. Regions of Nebraska getting hit heavy. Then regions of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana. Regions all over here from the surface low are going to get really battered by quite a lot of snowfall. Maybe even lake effect snow here later on the backside of that low as well. So that'll be interesting to pay attention to. And we check our precipitation type here. You can just see the broader area here stays under this snowfall regime. See, central Illinois there stays under snowfall for basically 24 hours. It's at least 18 hours there, but lots of snowfall over much. So, I likely will make another video as we get closer to the main event. This is a little bit far out, so I do want to look at more specifics as we get closer. But in general, if you want an overview for this forecast, it's really going to be colder. That's the main idea. It's going to be getting colder and colder until Sunday. Now, on Sunday, you'll get a pretty powerful low pressure system That'll give you some severe weather down here. The outlook is right in this little corridor here. You'll get quite a dangerous freezing rain. Here, let me get into a better map so you guys can see the states a little better. Apologize for that. It's gonna get colder basically across this entire eastern half of the U.S. You're going to get some possibility for severe weather here in this corridor on Sunday, and this is the real message: is that everything changes on Sunday. Plenty of snowfall, especially right here. You might be seeing some freezing rain, especially in a pretty broad corridor right here as well. Again, just due to that nature of these low pressure systems, you get some warmer air lodged over some colder air at the surface, and that's how you get freezing rain. I don't think a let's see if a sounding would be useful for this. I don't think it will be, but I can try that out just to see what that looks like. But as a TLDR, again, severe storms will be possible on Sunday here. Freezing rain corridor, especially in the central, southern Midwest, and a pretty large snow corridor. Also, you'll be likely seeing a lot of lake effect snow over here in the Northeast, especially if you're regions right here or near Lake Erie. Actually, here's a very good sounding. You can see this warm nose right here, lots of warmer air, so that'll be rain, but then once you hit the surface, a very staunch freezing layer. Um, Likely more, possibly more sleety here, but you can see that very cold air at the surface, but there is rain falling. So you have rain falling, but then once it hits the surface, it's beginning to freeze, and that's where that issue comes in. And I didn't look amazingly on that SQT where I placed that little cursor, but you can get the idea of it. So, again, that's the end of this forecast. Just expect colder temperatures on your way for really anywhere. Snowfall, especially for regions here. We talked about all this. If you want more information, let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, let me know. Any feedback is useful. Thanks for the great year. This is officially the first year we've had on this channel, and here's to a great 2025. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.